What comes to your mind when you hear the word communism? Long lives of starving people waiting for a loaf of bread, state control over all businesses.
I'll take this case to the Supreme Court.
The state is the Supreme Court. No more private property. No more you.
Oppression of individuality and freedom of expression.
We must fight to regain our freedom, or everything is lost. Everything.
Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine.
Probably not economic success, right? But what if I told you a small country in Europe actually managed to thrive despite having communism? This is Slovenia. A nation that against all odds managed to become one of the most prosperous post-communist states. How did that happen? Let's break it down. During the late 80s and the early 90s, communist Slovenia had a GDP per capita of $10,000, a figure that made it a high-income country by global standards. To put that into perspective, any country with a GDP per capita of over $7,620 was considered a high-income country. Slovenia was also outpacing some of its Western counterparts like Spain and Ireland. Before adopting communism and during World War I, Slovenia was a part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, which had industrialized around the same time as many Western superpowers that we see today. Slovenia also had a prime coastal location that made trade easier. But if you think that is the only reason for its success, then think again, because we have one example over here, and that is Hungary, which was also a part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, but Hungary is still struggling to develop to this day. What was one major factor that set Slovenia apart? Unlike many other colonies that were ruthlessly exploited, the Austro-Hungarian Empire actually encouraged the Slovenes to remain a part of it. More importantly, Slovenes had a great amount of influence in their own governance. This early taste of self-rule meant that by the time Slovenia actually became communist, it already had an idea on how to run its own economy. After World War I, Slovenia broke away from the Austro-Hungarian Empire and joined Yugoslavia, which was basically a Balkan megazord formed by Bosnia and Herzegovina, Serbia, Macedonia, Montenegro, Slovenia, and Croatia. Yugoslavia's 6 regions had a high degree of autonomy and continued to do so even after communist partisans liberated Yugoslavia from the Nazis. Before World War II, Yugoslavia was the 3rd poorest country in all of Europe. But then, the Great Depression hit, and it hit hard. Food prices fluctuated like crazy, the country could not borrow money, and the economy stagnated. Basically, things were bad before communism even showed up.
Oh my God.
Post-World War II and the communist takeover, Yugoslavia was liberated by the communist partisans, who actually took no time in setting up a communist government. But, unlike Soviet-style communism, Yugoslavia decided to do things differently. The command economy blunder. Most communist countries operated under a command economy model. In this model, the government controlled production, set up quotas, and also decided how much each citizen would consume. This was done to ensure fairness. This led to inefficiency, supply shortages, and a lack of incentive to innovate. Yugoslavia followed this model, initially introducing 5-year plans. Apparently, all communist countries are obsessed with having the 5-year plan. These plans were drafted by industry experts. Sounds great, right? Right? So why did the 5-year plan fail? Number 1, funding failing factories. Factories that kept underperforming kept getting more and more money. Number 2, bureaucratic nightmares. Every single decision made inside a factory had to first go through economic planners, which made it super inefficient because these economic planners who were sitting in the capital had absolutely no clue as to how a factory worked. Number 3, no competition equals no innovation. Since all of the factories were state controlled, there was no incentive for the workers to push to make better products. So, if the 5-year plan failed, what was the solution? Titoism. Communism with a capitalist twist. Now, if you think all the communist states were the same, then let me introduce you to Titoism, Yugoslavia's unique approach to socialism and communism. It was named after the leader, Josip Broz Tito. Now, this guy has balls of steel. It is common knowledge that nobody could actually oppose or stand up to Stalin. But this is what this guy does. When Stalin sends assassins to kill this guy sends a note back. Stop sending people to kill me. We have already captured 5 of them. One of them with a bomb and another with a rifle. If you don't stop sending killers, I'll send a very fast-working one to Moscow, and I certainly won't have to send another one. You did what? Yes, this guy had balls of steel. Tito's communism was completely different from the Soviet model. Yugoslavia had a split with the USSR mostly because the Soviets wanted a Cold War with the West, while Yugoslavia just wanted to maintain normal trade relations with the West. Titoism introduced something that was completely unheard of in most communist states. Two words: worker autonomy. Worker councils, where employees ran the show. Under Titoism, factories were not just run by central planners. Instead, worker councils were formed. These councils, elected by the employees, included regular workers, union leaders, technical advisors, and professional managers. Factories could actually start competing with each other. This meant better products and more efficient operations. Workers shared in profits, which actually meant that the more money they made, the more productive they were. Decision making was local, which meant that instead of waiting for clueless bureaucrats to actually get things done, the workers could implement them independently. But did this work? Short answer, yes. Long answer, well. Yugoslavia's decentralized socialism made Slovenia the wealthiest region within the country. The economy grew rapidly. Workers had rights and standard of living skyrocketed. However, the problems remained. Number 1. Inefficient state-owned enterprises. While some industries thrived, others stagnated due to a lack of competition. Number 2. Debt accumulation. Yugoslavia had borrowed heavily from the West, which meant the debt eventually became very unsustainable. Number 3. Nationalist tensions. Tito kept Yugoslavia united, but after his death, ethnic and regional rivalries resurfaced, eventually leading to its breakup. Unlike other Yugoslav republics, Slovenia actually had a relatively peaceful departure from the Union. It had already built a very strong economy. It had developed democratic institutions,
And it made a quick transition to the market economy.
Today, it boasts number 1, one of the highest GDPs in Central Europe. Number 2, a thriving export-driven economy. And number 3, membership within the European Union and NATO. So, did communism work in Slovenia? Well, kind of. Along the line, these people realized that it was actually less about communism succeeding and it was more about Slovenia using a unique, decentralized, socialist model that allowed it to outperform its communist peers. If anything, Slovenia actually proves that even within a flawed economic system, innovation, self-rule, and flexibility can make all the difference. And maybe, just maybe, having worker councils is better than having clueless bureaucrats running the show. Hey guys, so if you like my videos, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to share. Peace out.